Hi there. In the previous video, we talked about how the disease COVID-19 or the coronavirus slowly turned from an epidemic to a pandemic and engulfed the whole of the world under its domain. We also talked about the vicinity ban project and how it totally restricts any further spread of this disease by creating a database and storing the data about who came in the vicinity of the subject and at what point of time. You can view the video by clicking on the link given in the description. Today, we are going to elaborate and mathematically prove how it is an effective measure to reduce the number of COVID-19 cases. First of all, let's talk about the current process of containing this disease. For now, whenever a person feels sick or shows symptoms of COVID-19, he reports this to the medical officials and gets checked up. If he is found positive for coronavirus, he is immediately isolated and a proper inquiry about who he came in contact with in the last 14 days is performed as soon as possible. And all those people are also quarantined and later they undergo medical tests to determine whether if they also have the disease or not. Let's view an abstract representation of this process. Here, all the bubbles are people of any locality or environment. Now, we get a positive case of COVID-19 from this locality, which is denoted by the black bubble here. This locality would then be labeled as a corona hotspot. The bubbles connected by the central point via a line represent the people who came in contact with a positive tested person. In the layer 1, there are 5 in contact, out of which only 3 were spotted and were quarantined, while the remaining 2 were unnoticed because of the less efficient manual tracking. Now, each of the remaining infected people in layer 1 came in contact with 4 other people in layer 2, and their social history was found out by inquiry after they started showing symptoms and were later checked positive for COVID-19. Out of these 8 people, 4 were quarantined and 4 remained unnoticed because of the less efficient manual tracking. The positive tested people are completely isolated and are represented by red bubbles here. The 4 infected people in layer 2 came in contact with 4 other people each, thus increasing the number of infected people to 16 in layer 3, out of which 8 were quarantined and 8 remain unnoticed. While the cases are surely reduced, they are not eliminated completely and the society is still being infected at an alarming rate, making such a hotspot quite deadly. To solve this problem and completely eliminate any possibilities of contagion, the vicinity ban project was introduced. Let's view its working in the same abstract manner. Here also, the bubbles represent the people of the subject locality. This locality then turns into a corona hotspot after getting a positive tested case of COVID-19 represented by the black bubble. After this, vicinity bands are distributed among all the people of that locality, which is under the immediate threat of infection, to create a database of every 2 persons who come in vicinity of each other, namely within 1.5 meters in the cloud server. The yellow bubbles here represent the area up to which the bands have been distributed. After this distribution, the collection of the vicinity data has begun. The hotspot center is labeled as layer 0 and the layers are labeled as layer 1, layer 2 and so on depending on their vicinity connections. Then, the first layer of infected people is to be sought out using the conventional method only, that is via inquiry and investigation. Here also in the layer 1, there were 5 in contact of the infected person in layer 0, out of which only 3 were spotted and were quarantined while the remaining 2 were unnoticed. Then, after the unnoticed people finally developed symptoms and were tested positive for COVID-19 and were immediately put into isolation, the people in the next layers who came in contact of those people are sought after using the vicinity data. Each unnoticed person in the layer 1 came in contact with 4 other people and all of them were found out in the layer 2. Also, the people of contact in layer 3, that is, the people of layer 3 who came in contact with these people of layer 2 are quarantined as a precautionary measure, thus targeting 2 layers of contact simultaneously with pinpoint accuracy much before the next case arises. This way, all the possibly infected people are spotted and quarantined immediately, thus preventing the formation of any new chain. As we can clearly see, how there were still some infected people left unnoticed in the case of manual tracking, which is being followed right now, and how the use of vicinity band removes any remaining possibilities of any further infection. Thus, we need the vicinity band project to be applied in all such hotspots to completely eliminate any further spread of the coronavirus and to ensure the normal functioning of our nation as soon as possible.